Good morning, YouTube. It is Monday, July 15th, 2019, and these are your morning announcements. Batman and I are riding into work. Got a busy week this week. Got events just about every day, which is great. So, and it's going to be a hot one this week. It's supposed to be in the high 90s all week long with real high humidity. So, joy! Not really. But we'll deal with it, right? Right. So this morning, I was watching some videos, and I love watching this one channel called Fathering Autism. As some of you may or may not know, I have Asperger's, and I'm on the spectrum, and my two younger brothers also are on the spectrum. So my whole life is about autism. In fact, I'm wearing my autism shirt today. Can you see that? Let me see if I can show you guys here without crashing my car. See, it's autism, the world from a different perspective. And that is what autism is all about. At least those of us who have high-functioning autism or Asperger's. You know, to everybody around us, we look like average Joe and Jane human beings. Doesn't look like there's anything wrong with us. So when we have some interesting reactions to things or just don't seem to get it, that's really the only time you notice that we have this issue. Well, now there, much more better. Okay. Like for instance, the way that my Asperger's affects me, I'll just give you, because it's different for every person. Okay, that's the crazy thing about people who are on the autism spectrum, is that when you meet one person with autism, you've met one person with autism, because it's different for every single person that's out there. And for me, the way that it affects me is in the way that I relate to other people, I don't always get people. In fact, most of the time I don't get people at all. I often will look to others. Like, let's say I'm in a conversation with a group of people, and there's one person talking on a particular topic. When that person is done talking, I will look to the people around me to try to determine what the proper reaction to this particular thing is. Now, of course, I'm 50 years old. I've been doing this for a long, long time now, so I'm much quicker at picking up on the things, but I have to cognizantly look for the cues to be able to determine the proper way to react to something, where other people will just inherently know how to react to something. And a good example that I like to give people is, I went to a Jeff Dunham show once with a friend of mine, and I thought it was freaking hilarious, but I never at any point during that comedy burst out laughing. Okay, I pretty much just sat through the concert or the show with a smile on my face the whole time. And afterwards, my friend said, "You didn't enjoy it, did you?" And I'm like, "Oh, yes, I did. I enjoyed it very much." And she's like, "Well, it sure didn't seem like you enjoyed it." And I thought to myself, well, yeah, there I go. I didn't have the reaction that normal people would have to it. So right away, the assumption is made that I didn't have a good time based on the cues that I was giving off, which were non-existent, right? So I think a lot of Aspies will tell you that that's a thing. you know. I also don't always get jokes. Like, let's say I do something and somebody picks fun on me a little bit. I know that they're picking on me not to be mean, just to be a little funny, and I do get that. But my initial knee-jerk reaction to that is I need to explain myself. And often, you know, people will be like, "Hey, Rach, I'm just kidding, you know, don't get angry." And I'll be like, "Well, no, I'm not angry. I'm sorry if I gave you that impression that I was angry. I just have this insatiable desire to explain myself if somebody's picking on me." I have to explain myself. I think that Aspies will tell you that we kind of feel like we're in a constant state of being judged. And that just comes from when we were kids and our inability to connect with other kids, you know, in the same way that other kids connect to other kids. And being called weird and being bullied. You know, my brothers and I, all three of us are on the spectrum, so we were kind of the weirdos of the neighborhood, you know, so we got picked on quite a bit. And although my brothers are also high functioning, they're a little less functioning than me. So I always felt like I needed to defend them, which like got me into all different kinds of altercations with my friends throughout the course of time in my childhood. Always had to defend my brothers, you know. So I learned how to fight very young. Don't have a problem with that. But it wasn't until I got older, you know, probably into middle school, before I realized that as long as I like go along to get along, I can make friends, you know. So I learned the art of mimicry, and I would just mimic everything that my friends were doing, you know. I was a little mina bird. If they thought something was funny, I'd repeat it. If they dressed a certain way, I would dress a certain way. If they listened to certain music, I'd listen to certain music. And I learned that as long as I did that, people kind of would leave me alone. They wouldn't pick on me. So that was how I got through middle school and high school. By high school, I kind of got this I don't give a crap attitude about everything, and I didn't really care anymore if people liked me or not. And that's when people started liking me. And I think it was because I let my genuine self show. You know, I wasn't trying to be, when I stopped trying to be something that I wasn't, that's when things came together for me. And as I started establishing friendships and making close friendships, the people around me learned how to tell when I was not getting it or having a problem or getting some social anxiety, and they were quick to like gather around me and help me get through it. You know, I was very blessed that way, with a very great group of friends in high school, a really good group of friends in college, and a lot of those people who I was friends with back then, I'm still friends with to this day, which is pretty awesome. And they helped me get through it, you know. And I also had wonderful parents and grandparents who worked with both my brothers and I to help us become more socially savvy, you know. And I learned too, in high school, I got on the forensics team, and I learned how to do persuasive speech, and I learned that was a talent that I had. And once I found my voice and just became less and less afraid to talk, I started to do much better socially with people. And then it got to the point where I was talking a little bit too much. And I had to learn how to scale back on and not just let everything that comes to my mind shoot out of my mouth. But I have to say that if I could choose between being someone with Asperger's and someone not being with Asperger's, I would choose being an Aspie any day of the week, because it also, there's some good things that come from having Asperger's. I hyper focus. Like, if I get interested in something, I am on it. Like, I will learn every single little tiny detail about that particular subject, and I will become an expert on it, and I won't stop until I believe I've learned absolutely everything that I could possibly learn about that particular subject. So anything I get interested in, I get really interested in, and I can speak very eloquently about that particular topic to anyone. And that has that has helped me in life quite a bit. So I like that part of myself. I come off as cold to some people. I know in the videos here I probably don't seem that way because I'm always la 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 la, bubbly and weird. But I can be kind of cold and detached from my emotions, and I think the place where you see it the most is when somebody close to me dies. I don't have the same reaction to death that a lot of people have. It doesn't mean that I'm not sad, because like when my grandma died, I was very close to my grandma. Like, she was my best friend in the whole world, and I was holding her hand when she passed away, and I felt her leave. I felt my dad leave too when I was holding his hand and he passed away. I felt them. I knew exactly when they were no longer there. Even before my grandma stopped breathing, I could tell that she had gone. Which, anyway, but I didn't automatically cry. I went into gotta help everyone around me mode. And maybe that's not an Asperger's thing. Maybe it is. I don't know. But I know that I've been told by people, that sometimes I could be pretty cold. Like, if they had something traumatic happen in their lives and they're telling me about it, they don't see the sympathetic reaction from me that you might see from somebody who doesn't have Asperger's. So if that ever happens, guys, if you're telling me a story and you're expecting like a real sympathetic reaction, if I don't give you that, please don't take it personally, or don't think that I don't care, because I do care. I'm just processing what you told me, and it takes a while for me to process that and discover the sympathetic connection. That doesn't happen automatically for me. But I do have a temper. I have a temper. And I get frustrated very easily if I feel like I'm not being heard or I'm not being understood. And I will passionately state my case if I feel like I'm being misunderstood. And sometimes that can put people off. And it's not that I mean to do that I mean to like upset anyone. I just feel like I have to be understood, and if I'm not, I'm gonna keep talking to you until I feel like you do understand me. What I'm trying to teach myself is how to tell when it's time to just let it go. You can't do it automatically, because then you become a pushover or somebody that gets walked over a lot. But you can't drag it out too long to the point where they're not hearing you anyway. That's where I have like a serious issue with that, and I'm trying to get better at that, but I'm 50. But I keep trying, because you're never too old to learn something new, right? And learn how to do something. But that's me. That's my experience with Asperger's. Oh, and other, like clinical things like social anxiety, you know, being in a big crowd of people, being in a place where there's a lot of noise, a lot of movement, like casinos are crazy to me. I love to gamble, but man, I cannot spend a long time in a casino. Like some people can go there and be there all day. I can't do that without it like really wigging me out. Walmart freaks me out. I've gotten to the point now where I can get all the way through Walmart without having any kind of social anxiety or anxiety attack. But if I have to go into the area where all of the prescriptions are and medications and shampoos and conditioners and stuff like that, that area, for whatever reason, really wigs me out. Sometimes I even have to just send Chrissy in there, like, because her and I usually go shopping together, and I'll be like, Chris, I can't go in there, you're gonna have to go in there. And she knows, and if she sees me really freaking out, she'll be like, why don't you go wait in the car, I'll take care of it, so she's got me figured out, thank God. Rick does too, to a certain degree. So I'm lucky that way. But I've also met people who have absolutely no kind of autism who are like, Walmart wigs me out too. So maybe it's just Walmart. I don't know. We went to 7 Mile Fair a couple weekends ago. It's a big flea market here in southeastern Wisconsin, and there was a bazillion people there. And that night when I got home, I made it through, okay? Towards the end, I was like, all right, now we gotta go. This is it, we gotta go. After being there for like maybe an hour and a half, I was like, all right, I'm done with this. But something that I have happened to me is if I make a lot of eye contact with people, if I'm in a place where there's big crowds of people and I make a lot of eye contact with people, when I go home at night and I close my eyes to go to sleep, I see all their faces one at a time. They just come back to me, these faces. And whoo, it's a spooky feeling, and it's really hard for me to go to sleep when that's going on. So I often will try to rig it so that if I am going to be going out someplace, that I don't have to work the next day, because I know I'll get no sleep. I'll get zero sleep, because these faces keep coming back and haunting me. When I was little, I thought it was ghosts coming to me in my dreams, but as a grown-up, I realized, oh no, that's not what this is. This is everyone that I've seen today. I wonder if that happens to anybody else. I've never heard anybody else talk about that who's got Asperger's, but I'm sure it's connected somehow. Okay, go ahead, lady, go ahead. I gotta turn in here. This dumbass lady, whatever. I want you to go because I gotta turn in here. Whatever. Anyway, so that was my Aspie talk for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. You guys are wonderful. I love you. Mwah. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.